Hey everyone, Tom from Ignite Digi here, and today we're announcing FIZBUSTER for Tilta Nucleus. FIZBUSTER for Tilta Nucleus enables the Nucleus-M 1 or 2 hand units to communicate into the DJI Highbright monitor and then control motors via the Fusion Hub at the transmitter end. Fusion Hub we released back in February, which enabled control deck users to control multiple motors, either Tilta or Movi, via DJI Transmission. FIZBUSTER builds on that in the sense that you can control all the Fizz axes on the hand unit, or you can pass off different axes from the control deck to the hand unit. And you can do that over multiple monitors as well. As you can see, FIZBUSTER has the same form factor as CAMBUSTER. So CAMBUSTER is the module that enables the inertia wheels to communicate with DJI Transmission. So using that, you can see here up on the Highbright, mounts to the side, you have a 7-pin LEMO. We include a 30-inch cable, which goes between the hand unit and the module. We also include a rod mount. So this rod mount's unanodized, the finished one will be black anodized. And I'll get into more detail about how you might use this on FIZBUSTER later in the video. As you can see in this setup, I've got a standard handheld tripod camera with 3 motors, got the DJI transmitter and the Fusion Hub. At this end, I've got the hand unit, got the cable, got FIZBUSTER and the Highbright. So this and this are connected, and this is as a control monitor. So you can have 2 control monitors. This is one, and this enables, as you can see, focus, zoom, and iris. You can also use this with gimbal, so Ronin 2, Movi Pro, Movi XL, RS3, RS4, and even Movi Carbon. The motors that are compatible with this system are the Nucleus-M 1, the newly released M2, the Nano 2 via a breakout box, which is sold with Fusion Hub, and then lastly, the Movi Fizz motors, so the Hayden or Croziel motors that plug into the FIZ ports on the bottom of the TSU on the Movi Pro or Movi XL. It can also control the Movi Carbon motors which go onto the Fujinon lens. As you'd expect, we went on to deep dive into the back end of the Movi API and really fine tuning the control of these motors. We know a lot of you had a really bad time with Movi motors and the Movi controller. A lot of faulting, particularly on the zoom motor. We sweated the details on our end so that we can optimize that and make sure it faults as least amount of times as possible. And so these motors are actually far more usable than they previously were. This system does not work with the DJI Focus Pro system, and it also does not work with the Ronin 4D or the Inspire 3. So if you've got a 4D and Inspire 3, you still need the Focus Pro or the older 3-channel DJI hand unit, which can go mount directly to the monitor or with our control link. In terms of latency of the system, DJI Transmission has about 30 millisecond control latency, so it's very usable. On this setup, I've also got a Tilta run-stop cable coming out of this last Fizz motor, which is running into the EXT port on the Komodo, and that run-stop cable works, as you can hear there. Other settings such as zoom speed, torque values of the motors can be set on the hand unit, and that data passes through to the motors as well. Let's say you had this on a gimbal setup and you had control deck or inertia wheels with the CAMBUSTER into one of the control monitors, so one of these monitors. Your first AC could then have the other control monitor and have FIZBUSTER into that monitor, and then you can still do Fizz handoff. So on the control deck, in the menu, you could set handoff all axes, you could hand off just focus, and then keep control deck iris and zoom. And that works over either the single monitor, if you had FIZBUSTER in on the same monitor as the control deck, or if you have it split over 2. For those who need some distance between the Highbright monitor and the hand unit, we do offer a 15-foot, 5-meter cable for that. There is also a wireless solution, which I'll show you now. So in this setup, you can see I've got the motor mounted to the rod mount that I showed earlier, and that rod mount is mounted to the back of FIZBUSTER. So you might think this looks pretty silly, and it does look a bit silly, but basically you're using this motor as a wireless hub. So this is going 2.4 to 2.4, then going into FIZBUSTER and passing that data through DJI Transmission and then through to these two motors. So obviously if you wanted to do this, you would need, and you had a zoom lens at the other end, you'd need 4 motors, 1 for this and 3 for the lens. So this is compatible with the Nucleus M1 and M2 motors. Currently the Nano 2 motors don't work as a hub. So I guess what are the pros of this? Well, you get control here, that this hand unit is free to walk around. This is powered by its 18650 inside. So, you know, where you might want to run like you want to hand off to a DIT or someone that's further away, and you don't want to necessarily give them the control monitor, you could then give them this. They could have iris control, and then, you know, control deck could have the rest of the control. So yeah, there are certain situations. Obviously this is 2.4 gig. DJI Transmission is mostly 5.8, but it does use 2.4. So there is a potential for this is obviously higher transmission rate than this, so there's potential interference there because you're adding another wireless link. There is also a little bit more latency because of that wireless link. So just another option we wanted to offer customers to have that unique solution. The Nucleus M1 hand unit uses 18650 batteries. 18650s come in a variety of models, so you have protected, which have a PCB underneath that protects it from over voltage and that kind of thing, unprotected, and then you have button and flat top. So I've got unprotected ones in here. Tilta recommended protected ones, and the idea is that you then are protected if you were to put voltage in here, say like a D-tap, and you powered it off that while you had batteries. The idea is that then the D-tap power wouldn't be charging the batteries or trying to charge the batteries with a higher voltage than they're capable. So our hand unit, this is a reasonably new Nucleus M1 hand unit, and it does have some protection in it, despite Tilta not recommending to power this while you've got 18650. So in the kit, we include a bunch of stickers which warn people to take the 18650 batteries out before plugging it directly in. So obviously in this setup where you're wireless, you need the 18650s to power the hand unit. But if I was going to plug this directly into FIZBUSTER, then we recommend taking the batteries out. We have put a resettable fuse into FIZBUSTER to try and add that additional layer of protection, because Tilta were unable to confirm with us whether all of the Nucleus M1 hand units, including the early models, have that built-in protection in the actual hand unit. So if you're wondering what those stickers are, that's what that is. It's just an extra safety warning. Take the batteries out before plugging the hand unit directly into here, because the hand unit will power off the monitor power. We are selling FIZBUSTER as a single kit. The module, the 30-inch or 76 centimeter 7-pin to 7-pin cable, and the rod mount, which I showed earlier. This is available on our store for pre-order, shipping mid-May. If you're coming along to Cinegear LA, drop by the booth. We're at 607 at Universal Studios this year, along with Noto Film Systems. So it should be a great event, and we hope to see you there.